Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in to F1 Podcast. As ever, you're joined by Pep and my good friend Max. Max, how are you?
Good, mate.
So Max, in the lead up to the race this week, the news all over the web has been about the super licenses and
And the cost thereof.
Yeah, the cost thereof. And of course, actually this isn't new news. This has been out for a long time, this situation with the payment of the fees, with the points. I think just now it's starting to bite a little bit and the news has come out about it, and there's been a lot of banter about it, Max.
Mate, there has, and the GPDA drivers met with Bernie Ecclestone over the last day or so. Petra De La Rosa, DC,
leading the charge, mate.
Oh, leading the charge, even though he's not a driver. But DC, Mark Webber, Alonso and Kubica having a chat with Bernie this morning. Of course, one of the things I would have been talking about is the massive increase, I might add, in the cost of a super license, Pep.
Yeah, it's huge, and as far as I can see, it's a temporary thing where they've introduced this new system, and it obviously penalises drivers who aren't being paid a lot but do very well. Their results are exceeding what they're actually being paid, so they pay a lot on their super license points, if you want to call it that. But
well, that's the interesting thing, isn't it? I mean, if I could just quote, to get a super license, €1,725 plus €456 per point. The proposal is that the cost of a super license increases to €10,000 and €2,000 per point, which I worked out today is almost 600% increase.
Yeah, it's a huge increase.
1 year to the next.
And Max, seriously, you should be concerned because your super license is expired now, so you don't have to worry about it. Damn, it's gone. Yeah, it is a big increase, but I think it's a temporary thing because next year I think every contract will be written or amended if it's an existing contract to say the team will pay for the super license. So whatever your super license turns out to be, the team will pay it. So I don't think they need to worry about it. The drivers shouldn't be concerned. All this stuff about strikes, it's not serious. I didn't believe it from the start. There's going to be no strike, Max. There's none of that happening.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think there'll be a strike. Formula One, certainly after what happened last year, obviously. Yeah. I don't and never did really think that there was ever going to be the chance of a strike. But with the increase, just going back to what we were talking about a moment ago, with the super license, I don't think an increase of 500 or 600%, or between 500 to 600%, is really, fair. But by the same token, there's a lot of people out there that think, well, hang on a minute, these guys earn a truckload of money. Even those guys at the back end of the grid, they still earn a considerable amount of money. So maybe this increase is fair because they can absorb that. But I'd like to, as I know Pev, I'd like to know your views. I'm not sure either way, I guess.
Let us know, guys.
But what are your thoughts on whether or not they, the drivers, based on their salaries, can absorb this increase?
Yeah, well, a lot of drivers were saying that even the top drivers, it's about 10%, so it's a massive chunk of what they're earning. And you can say all you like, and there's been some banter about, well, you earn 20 million, so 200,000 odd euros or whatever is not too bad. That's fair enough, and goddamn, I paid 200,000 euros to get my 20 million, no problem at all. But if any of us had to give 10% of our salary to something that's pretty rudimentary in terms of what it delivers you, which is nothing. We all know they're qualified. A super license is something that Yuji Ide runs around and gets some laps in Barcelona in an afternoon, and they hand it to him because he's done enough kilometres. It's ridiculous. It's an admin charge, Max. So, You know, eventually it'll be included in their salaries, but I don't think anyone should pay 10% for that. For that, that's a joke.
Yeah, good call.
Yeah. So it's been big news this week, and as Max said, let us know your views, guys, because geez, they've been talking about it a lot.
Well, you know, when you think about it, someone like, for example, Kimi Räikkönen, who's rumoured to be on $51 million, you know, at Ferrari, would 230,000 euros really have an impact on him? No, it probably wouldn't. But I guess that's the argument. These guys are very highly paid. You know, the argument can also be made as well that the guys down the bottom half of the grid, what are their chances of scoring, you know, points?
Yeah.
So they wouldn't be hit with the 2,000 point.
You don't get a
penalty.
point, you don't pay a dime.
But is it fair for these guys to pay the €10,000, you know, super license fee?
Yeah.
Now the bottom half of the grid might be earning, you know, €500,000 or €1 million.
Yeah.
Is that fair? I don't know.
And if they suddenly do well and get a few points, then they get this nice bill.
Yeah, with no guarantee that they're going to be racing at that team next year.
Yeah. Well, Max, the other thing has been about Vettel and what seems like an inevitable, Max, team up with Mark Webber at Red Bull next year. So much banter about that. You know, DC, he doesn't seem to have much of a long-term future as far as everyone's saying, and then David himself, I think, this week has sort of indicated that this might be it for him.
He's got things though, Pep.
He's got plans.
He's got plans. Yeah, no doubt about it. But with Vettel, I mean, I think we'd all like to see him partnering on Mark Webber next year.
He's been doing some good stuff.
He has been.
Some really
Yes.
impressing, yeah.
For a young guy who's got a mature head on his shoulders, and he's doing really well. Could I see DC at the BBC next year, commentating on races?
Probably.
Oh, maybe not. Maybe it'll still be a little bit too raw because he would feel that he could, you know, still be out there. But I'm sure DC won't be wanting for any money, mate.
And he's ruled out NASCAR because anything other than F1's a step down. And I agree with you, David. You're 100% right on that, Tiger.
Yeah. But it'll be. I think it'll be interesting to see if Vettel does partner Webber next year.
I think he will.
Red Bull, and I think it'll be fantastic to see. The guy deserves it.
I mean, Vettel's been delivering, and also it's one of those rumours. I think there's a lot of rumours in Formula One, Max, but there's a lot. It's one of those rumours. Yeah, it's one of those rumours that just seems to like it's got a lot of credence, and it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So Vettel to Red Bull next year.
Yeah, and good night, and thanks very much, DC.
Thanks for watching.
Time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.